bum 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 bum. Da 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 do. Da 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm Alex. Today is day 37 of a Handmade Game Dev Live. And if you'd like to join me as we do some of the most handmadingest game development you've ever seen, all you need for that is your morning drink of choice. Mine is fresh matcha. And join me now for our sip of the day. Trademark, copyright, etc. Ah, we say ah. Okay, so, once again, sorry about the stream yesterday, everybody. It has been quite the week at work. I am a little bit burnt out. Today, feeling a bit better though. spent last night watching Revenge of the Sith, so that's kind of the thing that really gets my juices flowing. You know, gotta get juiced. So anyway, we were playing around, as always, with the boost mechanic of the game, the problem mechanic, the thing that I think we've really got to nail down in order to have the movement be kind of like perform the way that we want and have all of like these interesting opportunities and interactions in it that we think will facilitate a cool game. And unfortunately, it still does not quite work. You know, as you can see, it's just so easy to... Oh, actually, that shouldn't be working, right? Oh, no, that isn't working. But that's right. Yeah, there's quite a few things wrong here. You know, the idea of the boost is it should be like a short, quick impulse in the direction that you're holding to try to... and that's like your main way of controlling the player character. You should not be able to just like kind of like do whatever you want with it. And here, you know, if you just look here, we start going super far away because we hit like the limit essentially of where like the gravity field actually you know takes or like matters. It provides like meaningful acceleration just with the base movement speed like right there. Excuse me. And I think that should never be happening. That's kind of like crazy. But there were a number of other things we were trying to mess around with, like the recharge, the time it takes for the boost to go through and to come back. So there's a number of elements that we're working with here that are kind of a problem. And I think yesterday where we landed off was on the thought, hey, oh, I missed the planet. How did I miss the planet? Well, yesterday where we landed off was on this feeling that looming on the horizon here is potentially a big rewrite of our physics and collision resolution system, because right now it's I'm not going to say pretty bad. It's like really bad. It's very linear. It's kind of doing some magic mid loop here that is you know, sort of destructively modifying the real values of where objects are supposed to be, their momentums and velocities, when, you know, we're supposed to be kind of doing all that at the end. And you know, it's kind of functional right now for two-body collision. You know, it seems like we're seeing the player character kind of land on the surface of the planet at this pretty slow speed. We're seeing it, you know, not clip through, not get stuck in some sort of restitution loop, and we are seeing gravity like get applied, you know, and seemingly it's getting applied pretty reasonably at you know, that's at something that's also scaling to definitely the masses we played with, and as well as the distance. So like that all seems okay. But then, we have we have a couple things missing here. So our collision system, so if we go into here, this really only works on a single entity right now. We are, what's up, the code guy 01? We are going through the physics here and trying to understand, is this the next major rewrite? The answer might surprise you. What's up, man? But the physics right now basically is always assuming, that entity 1 in this case is usually ending up being our player. And entity 2 is like the planet, because we've only really been working with 2 entities for the most part. And entity 2 is kind of just always treated as static. So there's a lot of like momentum and energy that is not getting conserved in the system. 30 plus platforms. Yeah, 30 plus platforms. No, I think if you pay Restream, then it will let you stream on 30 platforms. I'm just on YouTube and Twitch. I think it does not let you add more unless you pay them some cash, which I'm not willing to do. I have seen people on Twitter have created their own Restream home server that just pushes RTMP to everywhere they want, which actually sounds like a really cool, fun project to just see what that's like, see about integrating with those APIs and actually doing quality video streaming would be kind of an interesting problem. Yeah, but you need internet. You need really good internet out of your house, out of your streaming server, right, to support that. Because how much bandwidth are you going to be using? Because really, I only need to have the bandwidth to support one video stream out of my home internet right now to Restream, and then I use their bandwidth. But then I also am going to lose all of the integration into OBS if I do my own multi-streaming solution, which is a little annoying, because I tried actually very briefly to get into the OBS plugin world. There were some issues I was having with my green screen plugin that I use. That's like a ML based green screen or background remover, and OBS was just not a fun place to to try to develop for. It's just a very annoying environment, and I think I was on Windows too. Windows, it was not really super fantastic to get set up and stuff, but also was fighting a lot of the machine learning stuff. Really not fun to try to set up on Windows. Total freaking nightmare. So here we are, streaming on 30 plus platforms, but not really. Anyway, yeah, we're just losing so much energy and momentum in our system by treating half of our every interaction as static, as just a loser. And again, that's fine for I think the most of the conditions you have, where it's the player is going to be relatively way smaller, orders of magnitude smaller than the planet or sun, whatever other thing we're hitting in the system. But all of the objects, we would like to be able to collide with each other too, and apply gravity to each other. And I think that would be, we're obviously going to be missing stuff there, right? Because one thing, because what would be very interesting is, there is a version of the game, if we extend super far out into the distance, where it is a whole like pseudo galaxy like scale worth of solar systems and astral bodies all moving around, all actually real time getting simulated and working with gravity, and even like having relativistic motion, relativistic space time like folded in there. And obviously gravity has to actually work for more than just one entity for that. And it's got to work pretty efficiently, because imagine how expensive it is. Because we're already just like burning cycle time, doing like garbage, like just like normalizing all these like vectors all the time. Like normalize is apparently our most expensive call, because I think it's just doing too much stuff, right? Like I think it's got to do this divide, it's got to do this length, which is 2 multiplies and an add and a square root. So it's just a lot, right? It's a lot of it's a lot of different math ops that are not really SIMD'd. And to be fair, we're not at the point where we need or should be trying to SIMD those. But if we are very ambitious with the design here, and with the scope of what we would like to actually get into this game, which it's not clear right now, but we were ambitious enough to write our own game engine and actually start making a game. So that's a start. But like at some point the physics will have to like really work. It'll have to work like pretty well. But again, it's true. Hey, what's the level that it can work at right now? We should probably try to stick to that before diving in and really going ham here at trying to simulate the universe. To make a video game, you first must simulate the universe. So it's kind of a problem. Okay, but yeah, like all of this stuff, not really gonna work. This all not really gonna work because the gravity really is just super hard coded into the player loop only. So all of that kind of lame. And yeah. So like, there's a reason we have not tried doing anything cool like trying to actually start up a solar system level, give everything some like base momentum, and have things spin around, which would be super cool. And I think that would be something we would want in a starting like demo level of the game, is something that looks like that. Because I think it's just so much more interesting than just having a completely static level design. And if this is the core system of the game, if everything is built around the physics and the gravity, the physics and the gravity should be should be the defining thing for 90% of how the game works, at least. As much as possible. So there. Yeah. So let's see. To get us to that point. So to actually just get us to the point where like gravity is going to work on more than just this one entity, what do we have to do? So this loop, like we said, is only getting run kind of once right now. This inner loop is getting run like one time on just on the player entity, and then it's going through all of the other entities in the scene, which is really just the planet right now. And that's how it does. We try to do all of the momentum calcs. Oh god, we have to do another divide every time here. So like this loop right here is super expensive because this will scale immediately with the number of entities that we add to the scene. If this is like an n squared loop, so every one of these things is going to happen a whole bunch of times. This normalize, all these multiplies and adds, and then everything in here too, which is quite a lot, as well as these two checks of if things are colliding or not, right? And if we are still at in some capacity trying to support more primitive types than just circles to be our colliders, this is like this loop here gets really expensive really quickly, and that's where we would have to actually try to figure out some optimization, figure out like what kind of sim step we can really be getting away with, and target frame rate we can really be getting away with in realistic runtime, and so on. So fun stuff. So we will have to move this loop in order to get the in order to like at least add like the planet archetype to the physics simulation here, like really, to make everything dynamic. Yep. And as well, we'd like to add at least like the kill box and whatever else too. There are some entities that I think they're probably not going to be physics enabled, that are going to be like little magic things. Like we've talked about pickups already, of having like fuel pickups like out in space, limiting your boost economy. And like the thing about like a pickup is they have to be pretty precisely placed, right? Because they have to be in stable orbit. If they are totally physics enabled, they have to be in stable orbit of whatever is like the closest thing. But then you have to imagine, actually no, that's kind of interesting. If like the player comes by, player gravity is maybe high enough to jostle the thing out of its orbit, and oh hey, I'm trying to like go catch this little boost pickup, I'm trying to go ram myself into it, but as soon as I got close, it destabilized the thing, and now it's falling toward the planet, and I have to change my my route here to try to intercept it, or else I'm not getting that pickup. That's kind of an interesting idea, right? But then, like, how do you like replace these pickups? How do they like return to the spot they were? All this stuff. If you were to like reload or come back to that part of the level, or if you were, if the level was reliant on that being there in order to like for you to make the next jump or not get soft locked, right? There's quite a few questions, I think, in terms of that, which is why the initial inclination was, hey, maybe you just like make those not physics enabled. But we have other things to worry about right now. Okay, so if we are to actually move this, we gotta stop stalling here. If we're to move this, we have like a couple things happening in this big entity loop. We are looping through every single entity, and then we are looping for all physics enabled entities into every single entity, like inside that loop. So this loop, super expensive to actually go through, because we are not only doing all this physics resolution stuff, but we're also doing all of the drawing, setting up the R like quad buffer stuff, which is not, it's not like an inexpensive amount of work, right? Because we are doing a bunch of math ops, we are doing a bunch of setting up matrices and matrix transforms on the CPU, and that is that's like a pretty significant amount of work. That is a pretty significant amount of work that we have to do. And again, like, so this will not like n squared scale with the number of entities, right? Because this is like kind of the outer part of things. But not this one. That one's like debug. This one, this like render sprite entity is the thing that's actually scaling. But the physics will scale with n squared number of entities. So that's a lot. It's a whole ton. It's a whole ton, and we will have to actually take some doing here at some point if we make it that far. And I have every intention of making it that far, as you know. We have a couple parts with how this works, right? And maybe this is where things kind of get broken up into a couple of different loops too, because right now things are pretty stupid. This whole system here of how we're actually iterating through all of our entities and like going around doing all this stuff. This is like by far the simplest thing you can do to just have an entity system, quote unquote, that goes around and and does all of this stuff. And it's probably what like all that you need for 90% of like indie level games, because you're just like, if your target frame rate's something low, like 60, and you're running on modern hardware, just doing a lot of and you don't have like a very complicated game state. You just have to push like the coordinates of textured quads to the GPU once a frame. You can totally just keep getting away with this, and it doesn't really matter. But I think as soon as you it's so very easy to run, like once you start pushing the limits of this, like if you have a ton of entities, now this becomes a super expensive CPU time loop. If you're Vampire Survivors, Vampire Survivors, if we can just grab the thing, how many entities, like freaking things, are on screen at any given time in this game? Right now it's one, but like this is like already, hey, this is like 24 textured quads that are on screen, plus particles, plus a ton of particles and moving effects, and it just it starts scaling up and up, and this has to run pretty well at some point, or it is a hard limit on your game design, right? Of how complicated things can be. Hey, look, this is now maybe like 300-400 textured quads on screen, plus particle shaders, all going on. Things with like active hitboxes that are moving around. This scene starts to become more and more expensive to render, and these things, like, I don't think even have. No, I think they do have like collision on each other too, right? So there's also collision solver between all of your bad guy entities and the world objects and the player, and then your weapons, all that crap, and it becomes like a lot so fast, and you just can't make this game if you're using the stupid the stupid entity loop that has nothing else going on in it. And I know because I tried. I tried making the Vampire Survivors clone, and it turns out my stupid entity loop was not good enough to keep up, and my stupid rendering loop was not good enough to keep up, and so to do stuff like that, the engine has to be much more performant. But if you're like a more constrained state game where like you're like a puzzle game, something that's or something turn based that's not doesn't really need to be real time at all. You just have so many fewer things to worry about. And so many fewer things running that like this is a totally workable, performant enough solution for some percentage of people, but I think it will not be for us. So what I think should probably happen, what I think probably should happen is, one thing we may want to do is split up our like, oh god, and this is like now getting into some like a little bit deeper weeds of like how we are packing all this data. But we may want to actually be splitting up the physics enabled and non-physics enabled entities from each other, so that we can write the cleanest or the most efficient physics only loop possible. And what that means is, is a whole science project, because, there are all these like additional algorithms and things that you do to make physics performant at some like really high level, and there's things you would want to do to keep all of that logic and data kind of packed together as local as possible in terms of memory, in terms of like the spot where it's getting executed. So you could do things like, graph out all of the bodies that are simulatable at the same time, and try to like parallelize, multi-thread the process, go through and add, we're doing right now our sim step at like 480 hertz, but what actually happens in that 480 hertz sim step is, we're checking like 2 frames worth of collisions right now and trying to and basically just treating them as the same thing, which is maybe not quite right. But some physics systems will go much further than that, will go like 6 frames in the future, or totally or try to predict based on current momentum and motion at what points actually collision events will occur in the future. There's all these like really complicated things you can start doing besides just like frame to frame resolving impulse and collision restitution that we're obviously not doing right now, but you could be doing, and at some point you may have to be doing in order to keep up. And that, like, you don't want to muddy the waters with like your entity, with your like quad rendering code, I don't think, because also keep in mind like this kind of has nothing to do with what's going on there, but it's totally dependent on the like not. This is like essentially like an in-between state of like if I'm looping through all the entities, I do all of my collision and gravity, and then I render right here. This is not where, if everything is dynamic, this is not where this entity is going to end up at the end of my simulation step, right? Because gravity is going to be acting on it from a whole bunch of different entities. If I that's how I choose to do it, or collisions can be resolved by a bunch of different entities. And I guess actually, you kind of shouldn't be, because if I do like the same operation on the same pair of entities twice in like my overall loop, where like everything is going to be twice as big. The magnitude of all these forces is twice as big as it should be, at least, or it's some multiplier bigger, because like effectively gravity is getting applied on the pair from like one end and then the other end, Um, so unless like whatever traversal path we do, we make it smart enough that it's not repeating any entity pairs. But then, um, all of the physics interactions are sort of dependent on each other to some extent because of gravity. If everything is simulating gravity onto each other, then like you can't. It's actually not even possible to just like create an isolated graph, like to graph it out and find non-connected like entity islands because fundamentally everything is connected. Everything is connected via gravity. So every single you must keep simulating every single thing to every other thing, and then where do you stop? where do you stop? How do you like even close to make it the simulation sort of work, despite having traversing always kind of like in entity ID order or something. Whole big can of worms to go from here to real physics that is going to work at like some high level. And that's like why you spend however many dollars on like some of these like universe sandboxes or whatever of like this is not a trivial amount of work to like get your physics to do everything you want to simulate all this stuff. And even here, very, very simplified, and you just kind of, I think, mostly have to be right on like the large scale. Whereas if we're sort of like okay, that was pretty cool. If we're like an action platformer almost, puzzle platformer, whatever the game is, like your interactions all kind of really matter. What's up, the Unknown 101? I'm just ranting to myself, trying to talk myself in or out of rewriting all the physics in the game. Because the system we have here, I think we've hit the limit of what we can really do with it. We can kind of go through and do things like with pretty small amounts of entities, treating everything as like a half duplex operation where one thing is static. And I think what we would really want to be doing with this game design is make every object in the level a fully dynamic physics gravity enabled thing that are all interacting with each other, so that you kind of get this feeling and understanding of what it actually really means to be little tiny spaceship traveling around the universe and seeing these huge fundamental forces acting on these great massive bodies, right? Which is what I did to your mom last night. No, sorry. But yeah, it's I think like in order to fully realize like what we could do with like with this like with gravity, to like fully explore that out, that's what we would have to do. And I'm just trying to think like of how much work that is, whether it's like we should be doing it right now or not. Because here's the thing. For all my talk, I'm still like I'm still very green in terms of like actual game design stuff. I'm not professionally in the games industry. I'm in every other aspect of technology, but except for games right now. But this is what I want to be doing, and I worry here the scope of like what could be done with this of what is super cool to do with this game design with this set of mechanics is just keeps like growing and growing in my mind, because it's an idea that I'm really excited about, and I think it's an idea that uh, that has like a whole bunch of legs to stand on. Actually, describes something really beautiful about the universe, about nature, that we're trying to replicate. And it gives me an excuse to do all these really interesting um, pieces of engineering, and get dip my toes into design work. But hey, somewhere along the line, we've got to choose. Like, is at this stage right now, does it make sense to just be going in there, kind of with no real design experience, game design experience, go and just like super deep in for like, because we're talking now, as the scope expands, like this is like very quickly becoming like obviously a multi-year project, a multi-year project to go create the thing. And it's maybe true that what would be a more optimal strategy would be to go try to solve design on something a little bit simpler, go ship that, go build up more of like the pieces I would need to do this more ambitious project, and then come back to it at some point down the line, right? It's very hard, obviously, to tell at what point like you've hit it's either at what point like you're facing a problem that you should be taking a step away from and coming back to later, or if it is just like some sort of like self-defeatism circuit that is steering me towards there, that it's like a lack of confidence, and if that is going to prevent me from actually achieving what I want to achieve, and just forcing me away from hard things, because hard things are still going to be hard no matter what. Excuse me. It's just like it's just like in the future, maybe not as hard. If that makes any sense. If that makes any sense at all. So it's something to kind of dwell on, and we burn another day just like kind of thinking about that. But I think it is true, like that, like at least this physics system like will have to get rewritten at some point. Two-way gravity and collision. It's just like, because like at least having the two-way gravity work takes this game up from, I just have a whole bunch of stupid static levels, like puzzle levels where like you just have the one thing going around, to, hey, now this is something maybe really interesting, where you can see like you're seeing the music of the spheres and all that stuff, and like that's where it could start to become really, really cool. And yeah, but it's also like part of the reason we keep just like increasing the scope of this thing is I'm trying to pursue and find that thing that is the minimum viable version of the game, and we're still not at that point, because like like a lot of these things I know will just like, if we set them up right now, they'll just stop working. They will stop working if we start changing really fundamental aspects of how like the game physics performs again, because we've already gone through that now like 2 or 3 times. So it's either like we have to like really do it, or or settle at like some level of the thing and then try to do it there. And I think it's just not interesting enough. I'm not sure if there is enough there otherwise. Yeah. So unfortunate. All right. So yeah, I don't know what to say there. I think this is something I've really got to meditate on here. I'm feeling the itch to hit that 100 wins in solitaire. Gonna be honest. I think we do that, and this will really, procrastinating is what's really going to help us achieve our goal here, our vision. Well, I guess not if it opens up on the wrong monitor. That's not good. Why did it do that? Oh, come on. How do I... Okay, here we go. Alright, and now we're good. Okay, so let's do that. This is the wrong solitaire. Okay, here we go. Just 2 wins in Sawayama solitaire. And then we don't have to do this gag on stream anymore. Okay, so looking pretty good so far, looking pretty good. Cruising along, forward bruising. Like that. And then do one of those. And then we want probably one of these. Excellent, Mr. Smithers. I don't think we want to take that card yet. Oh, well, we're gonna need that queen there. But there's no red 10 yet. No rush. May as well do that. May as well. Yeah, still can't quite do that. So now, yeah, I think we still want to stay here and not close up that spot yet. Okay, that's not bad. Oh, this is free here. Okay, now we have enough space to just kind of do this. Okay, excellent. So if we do that, then we really need to dig back to that red 10 is the problem. And we're kind of not that close to it. Just not ideal. We're seeing a lot of this stuff. Okay, actually that was not so bad. That was pretty clean. We don't want this king. Okay, we've got all the aces, so that's not so problemo-y. We definitely want to get this 2 in here, because that will free up so many cards. What do we do with this? And this 9. Okay, we want to do something like that. Like that. Okay, easy peasy. Easy peasy, ladies and gentlemen. Easy peasy. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Alright, alright, one more win. And then we get that fabled 100 wins of Sawayama Solitaire achievement. That is the thing for all the marbles. That's what it's all really been about. And I can taste it. I can taste it. Just a little gross, but you know, that's what we're here for. Snow. Oh, all of the 9s are pretty buried. Oh, that's really bad. I think we may already be like in a state where we're going to brick and lose here, because I think that's just too many stacks that are dead. Yeah, it's not looking great. Not looking too good on this one. Because I think 1, 2, 3. Or yeah, so all of the 9s are currently totally buried, and we have kind of no way of getting to them. Okay, let's see. If I do this, then it goes there, that goes there, then that goes there, and then I'm left with this black 10 here. And that doesn't really help. Oh, actually, what am I saying? No, I think that is workable. Right? Was not quite. Yeah, I think, unfortunately, that was just a bad hand there. We just got blocked on all of these piles. And kind of nothing we could do about that. I kind of feel bad losing in Sawayama Solitaire nowadays, because I've played enough of it where I kind of know the meta. I know like which types of moves that you're supposed to be doing in this variant, and like what are the not be missing moves like that bad. Don't do that, and that. That was pretty bad. That's me eating crow right there. But it's it's still very possible to just get dealt like an unwinnable hand, and it doesn't, like, again, it doesn't happen nearly as much as like in Klondike Solitaire. Because Klondike Solitaire really is just like, it's like a level of like, you can just be on like a losing streak that is not your fault for like a really long time, and it's so lame. It's so incredibly lame. Okay, so here we like kind of bricked already. Or it's maybe tight. So that really doesn't do anything to do that move. That move doesn't work. That move also is not gonna work. Oh wait, we can do that, and then we have no way of freeing, because we're looking for a move that's gonna free up like another column for us. And I don't see one. I'm not. You know what? This seems like the best one so far. We'll try, okay, yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, we got it. All right, excellent, excellent indeed. Okay. So what we want to do here? We have way too many face cards showing up. If I do this, we don't have any red 10s to put on there, so it's just not worth it. And we don't have either black queen. That really stinks. We do this. This also just bricks immediately, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we can. I think this one is kind of dead here. All right, let's try another. All right, come on, I can feel it. Win number 100. It's coming right up. See, there we go. Pretty nice, pretty nice. I think we do want to place this so that we can play with this card pretty soon. Okay. Oh, I guess we do that. And then, that doesn't really go anywhere. We can do that now. Now we're looking for a queen. Black queen. Okay. Alright, here we go. Excellent. Excellent indeed. Now, where are the aces? Alright, so we see one there, the rest are in the deck. So if we do that, that actually is pretty good. That is like a good pile cleanup. I'm happy making that move. Okay. Then, you know, we kind of have like pretty garbage stuff going on here. Okay, I can place that. If I do this, is that useful? Oh, that red 10, we just missed him. That kind of sucks. There's that black queen. Oh, shit. Oh, that might have sunk it there. Okay, not so bad actually. It was not totally sunk. Alright, we kind of can't take that card. Three of spades. Three of spades, ladies and gentlemen. What do we do with Mr. Three of Spades? We do that. No, we definitely don't want to do that. Where's the two? Oh, both of these black twos are stuck. Oh, that might be a killer here, because now I can't get rid of this one. Yeah. Crap. Yeah, I kind of have no way to get rid of these cards. Ah, that stinks. Oh well. Alright, good. One more. Let's see it. Okay. One of those. Or which one do we want? We want that one. This kind of sucks. We're like kind of really clogged up here. So what do we need to do? We should do this, get some free cards that way. We should maybe do that, right? What do you think? Yeah, like that. That's what we want. Can we do anything with this other 7? Not quite yet. Um. Alright, quite the pickle here. Well, we can do this. And then that 5 still doesn't help us. This is pretty close. Yeah, both black 3s are all the way down there. Shoot. So, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think this is a winner. I guess this is like the only thing I can kind of do. That's like the furthest I think I can go. Yeah, because I'm not seeing anything there. Okay, alright. Alright, we're just looking for one. Well, we're just looking for one more here. Oh, that sucks. We cannot quite get that. We can do this, which is not so bad. And then maybe one of these. And then one of these. Oh, interesting. Because I'm trying to not draw right now, because it would really suck to lose that ace of diamonds. But I think we have to. I think we're kind of out of moves we want to be making here. So if I take that, I guess ace of diamonds is dead. Oh shit. Alright, well this at least gives us some chance to unscrew this part of the board state. Well, that's nice. Kinda need that 9, I would like. Oh, shoot, that's not good. Alright, not looking good, boys. Not looking good here. Not looking good at all. If I do that, if I take that card now, that's actually free, so we should do that. Yeah, that was actually pretty. That actually was pretty huge. Because that cleared up a lot of the board there. But we need to preserve an open card here, or I think we're like really screwed. Okay, now we can afford to do like some more speculative plays here. So, I mean, not that speculative. But I can do this, right? Then we can clear up quite a bit of stuff. Do I have 4 of hearts? We can get rid of that. So that is pretty dope. Okay, that was nice. That we like to see. Okay. So now we have a problem of like we have kind of no connectors for a lot of the stuff. But it's okay, we've got a lot of room to play with, at least. We don't want to do that quite yet. Alright, this is really not great. This 6 of diamonds we don't want to see. We can do that. Just do a little pivot there. Okay, alright. Looking good. And that's game over. Oh, that's it, boys. 100 wins. 100 wins in Sawayama Solitaire. Alright, now I don't have to do this bit on stream anymore, so that's good. Alright, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, as I will mine. That surely made my day. I'm going to keep pondering this, because I think the answer really is I need it. If I choose to go a different direction, I need to have a different direction, a different project here at this point that is going. I need to have an idea, and I need to have one that actually is going to meet the criteria of something that's shippable, but still interesting and gives us like the valuable experience we want doing all the things we're trying to do. So thank you very much for watching. Godspeed. Goodbye.